Well, hello everyone. It's Just Dwayne. Let's talk some gear. Well, hello everyone. What I thought we'd do today is review my pack, which is the Mariposa Plus by Gossamer Gear. Wonderful pack. Love it a lot. It's got some great features, and I thought I'd show them to you, as well as talk about some of the pluses and minuses that I've experienced with it. As I said, it's Gossamer Gear pack. You can find it at gossamergear.com. This is the size medium. It comes in 3 sizes depending on your torso length. Mine's the medium, and it comes with one of 3 different sizes of hip belt. I went with the large. According to the Gossamer Gear website, a medium weighs in at 632 grams, which is 22.3 ounces. I've made a couple of modifications to mine. Mine comes in at 685 grams, which is 24.2 ounces. And each of the pockets, these are the size large pocket, they weigh in at 54 ounces, 1.9 ounces for the pair. 54 grams, 1.9 ounces for the pair. As you can see, I have it rigged up right now for a winter trip. Basically, I have it as full as I ever get my pack. It's got all of my winter gear in it, and I have it rigged up to use a bear canister, so that if I'm out in an area with a known bear problem and I carry my bear canister, it does fit in here. You can see it's pretty much maxed out with that load in it. According to the website again, the total volume is 3,600 cubic inches, 2,800 for the center compartment, and 800 for all the pockets combined. It recommends a 30-pound maximum carry, and I will tell you that I've had it about 30, 32 pounds, and it carries fine. So I've been very pleased with this pack. As I say, right now it's configured with a bear canister, just so that I could show that it does fit with all my winter gear and a bear canister. I even have some Crocs on there. But I want to take the bear canister out and show you how I normally rig it, because normally I'm not dealing with a known bear problem. In fact, the area that I pack most of the time doesn't have much of a bear threat at all, so I just keep the food in a sack. So you can see that's just a couple of days of food that I shoved in just for video purposes. But you see that with a couple of days of food in it, that it holds it nicely, and it keeps all the weight basically below your head level. One of the features that I really love about this pack, it's in addition to its lightweight, and it's proven to be pretty durable. It rides very comfortably, but I really love the way they've done these pockets. There's a number of lightweight packs on the market, and they all have various degrees of pocket configurations. But this one has a lot of mesh on the outside, and I really like it. As you see, it's got 2 smaller mesh pockets on the outside, and this mesh really gives, and it's proven to be very durable. I have my whole cook kit with my alcohol for my stove up in the top pouch, so it's always on the outside, and if it leaks, it won't leak inside on my other gear. The lower pocket, which is accessible when you walk, I can reach back, grab it, no problem. I carry a water bottle and some other equipment just that I want to be able to reach when I'm on the trail. And it's very easy to get it in and out. On the left side, as you're wearing it, it's got one very large pocket, and it's a wonderful feature, and it's one that I haven't seen on many of the others. In fact, I'm a hammock camper. When I sleep, I have my hammock system, and I keep my hammock system with its underquilt and netting and all that together in one system in one bag. And you'll see that this one bag right here on the outside, in a waterproof bag, is my whole sleep system. It's got my hammock, it's got everything in it, and it's on the outside. And that's very convenient for me because there are times when at the midway point during the day I like to stop, I'll string my hammock up, maybe take a nap on the side of the trail. Nothing better than laying up on the side of a mountain with a pretty view, kick out the hammock and crash out for a little while you rest up and get ready to hike some more. So I like having that on the outside. It's been convenient for me, and it's worked out well. Additionally, it's got this really nice large mesh pocket in the rear that I'm able to keep the stuff that I really want to have handy. I have my rain jacket, I have my tarp, I have my camp seat. I have just those items that I'm going to want to be able to access quickly in case of inclement weather. I don't want to have to open everything up, but I can get to it all handily, and it holds my umbrella because I like to hike with an umbrella. So that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and unload the pack so that I can show you some of the additional features. Well, now that we have the pack empty, let's look at some of the other features, and I'll try to start from the front and work my way around. I'm going to talk about the features, I'm going to talk about what I like about it, and I'm going to talk about what I don't necessarily like about it as I go through. There aren't too many things I don't like. There are some things that I think they could have done a little better, or maybe made some compromises that I wouldn't have, and also my ways of trying to fix it. First, the pack straps are pretty wide. So if you're sensitive in your neck, or if you're shallow across here, they might be a little bit wide for you. You can tell that they are kind of wide. They have an interesting system for trying to keep this thing as light as they can make it. If you see inside the shoulder straps, there's a piece of foam, and the foam comes with it, but you can opt to not put foam in there. You could put extra pair of socks or clothes or whatever, save the weight of the foam, and get your padding from someplace else. That's just not really worth it to me, but it is a nice consideration, and it's something to think about. One of the ways that they talk about resolving the wideness of the straps is to put a piece of the round foam that you put around pipes to keep pipes from freezing. If you take a piece of that and stick it in here, that will cause this to bow out, and will then make the overall thickness of the strap a little skinnier. It seems like an interesting workaround. I'm sure that it probably works well, but maybe I just wouldn't have made it as wide. But I gotta say though, it spreads the load quite nicely, so I don't really have a problem. I do, however, make sure that I wear some kind of a collar because with the Velcro here, I don't want it rubbing up against my neck. So I'll either pull the collar of my shirt up so that it protects me, or I'll wear a collared shirt. It has a nice sternum strap, and the sternum strap is rigid on this side and is flexible on this side. One interesting thing that Gossamer gear does is the buckle is actually whistle. So I won't blow it too loud because it is a pretty loud whistle, but it is a convenient thought. I mean, it's a good emergency safety device. You can see that it's adjustable. You can move your straps up and down on this piece of ribbon here. One thing that I did, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's continue to move down. The waist straps have a similar feature as the shoulder straps, in that you can remove the padding. So in fact, I'm going to open this up, and you'll see that these optional hip pockets, they just come out. So basically what you do is, they have a couple different sizes, so you can get whichever one you want. You slip this through on the pouch, on the belt, and then there's this one little tab on here that is the soft side of the Velcro. And what happens is you open up the Velcro where the padding is, and again you could use your own padding or use the foam padding that's provided, and you're supposed to insert this little tab into the Velcro, and that's what holds the pocket and keeps it from sliding. And I gotta say, that works really well until you put anything in the pocket, and then it doesn't work so well. The weight of it, it just can't, this little thing can't withstand that kind of pressure. So what happens is, if you have any kind of weight at all in these, when you as soon as you undo your straps, it slips out of this little restraint here and just slides off onto the ground, and you're standing there on the side of the trail looking at your pocket on the ground and thinking, wow, that's a good thing that I noticed. So you start getting in the habit of, as soon as you take it off, you buckle it so that at least the pockets can't come off. And what I'm going to do to resolve that is, they have a nice little loop on either side of the zipper, and the zipper goes both ways, so that's a nice feature. But on both sides there's a nice little loop, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a little tab right to the top of here so that I can run a zip tie between that loop and this loop, and that'll just keep it locked onto the belt, and that won't be a problem anymore. But it is something that you need to think about. And it is a design consideration that I wish they would have done a little better. I would have rather seen them maybe add a little loop here and let you just zip tie it off. It's something that is pretty easy, and if you got to cut it off and put it back on again, it's just a zip tie. I mean, anybody can do a zip tie. So the weight belt, the hip belt, as I said earlier, this is a size large, and they come in large, medium, and small depending on the size of your waist. One interesting feature is, that's pretty common with all the Gossamer gear packs that I love, is that a lot of lightweight packs try to take advantage of using either your foam pad that you're going to sleep on, or a sit pad, or something multi-use to get the frame, to get the load-bearing factors on the pack and the comfort factors. With Gossamer gear, you can fit in, you could, if you had a thin pad, if you used a thin pad, fold it into thirds and stick it in there. I've seen the videos where it can be done. It doesn't apply to me because I use underquilts and hammocks. But I do like the fact that when I'm on the side of the trail, I can pull this out, but I don't want to pull out my gear hammock or my camp seat and sit down. Sometimes you just want to sit real quick, you just pull this out and you sit down. I made a little plastic cover for it that I just keep in the back with it, and I can cover it if it's rainy or if the ground's wet. But that's a really nice feature. It's comfortable, and it's accessible, so you can pull it out. In the past, I've tried to use a pad inside against my back for comfort, but then when you go outside the trail, you have to open everything up and try to pull it out of all the compression going on in there to try to use it, and it never worked. And this seems to work pretty well. And if you see inside here, there's a little tunnel with a piece of Velcro in it, and that's how you can remove this waist hip belt. You just undo the Velcro and on both sides, and it slips out. It's in there nice and secure. You have to be careful. It is thin though, and so it wants to flip sometimes, so you kind of have to orient yourself to it. But I haven't found that to be a big deal. But it's nice that if you decide that your loads are so light that you don't need to have the hip belt, you want to save that weight, you can just take it off. If you're using it for somebody of different sizes, you can just take it off. Or if you're a thru hiker and you start off heavier, and then after you hike a while you get lighter, you can always just change out the hip belt and the pack will still fit well. Okay, so let's move on to the sides and the back. As far as load out goes, I have another video out that talks about my pack load, and you can kind of see how I utilize these particular pockets. But I will say that it's got wonderful outside pockets, and it's what I really love about this pack. The mesh on it's very strong yet elastic, so it's really shovable. You can shove stuff in, and it seems to handle it just fine. I haven't seen any wearing at all from that, and frankly I'm surprised by that. I thought that I might. I'm a hammock camper, and I keep all my hammock sleep system together in one bundle, and I store the whole thing in this big long pocket. That's why I love it. But if you sleep in a tent, this would be a great place to store your tent. You can just roll it up, stick it in there, and it's long enough that you don't have to worry about stuff falling out, but it's also on the outside, so if it's wet or you have condensation, you don't have to worry about it getting inside your pack, and you can keep your pack as kind of your dry zone, which is how I use it. So I really like that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the rest of the straps on the pack. You'll see that the primary closure is a strap with a quick release buckle. It's Y-shaped at the top, and that's because it's meant to hold a bear canister. When I use my bear canister, I actually put it inside. It fits inside the collar, the top collar of the pack, and so everything stays inside. I find that to be more convenient, but that's the reason they've designed it this way. I don't know that I love it, to be honest. It's the ribbon's really lightweight. It's plenty strong enough. It's more so that it seems to want to tangle on itself. It'll flip around itself, and then you end up with all these tangles, and you have to sit and kind of play with it to get it right. It's plenty effective, but it's just, I don't know, it's maybe not my favorite piece of it. The rest of that system is the one long piece of ribbon. Actually, this piece of ribbon is more sturdy. And it comes with this tab that you're supposed to run this up through. But it's kind of weird because unless you're really using the full collar, a lot of times when I use it, it's kind of down lower, and I want to cinch it up tighter than this will let me. So when I pull it, it hits there, and it doesn't want to go any tighter. So I just actually don't even use that. I'll just bring my piece over, I'll snap it in, and then I can pull it as tight as I want that way. And also what that lets me do is I use this little tab to hold some S-beaners on it to hold. A lot of times I put my Crocs in here, and that way I can run them through the backs of the Crocs to make sure they don't fall out on the trail. And that brings me to the next kind of thing I want to talk about. Is you see there's a number of little lash-on points throughout the pack, and it comes with this a series of shock cord with some little cord locks on it, so you can kind of rig up however you want. You see there's pieces that come here, and there's some on the back side, and so you can route your cordage, your shock cord, however it works for you, so that you can tighten up and hold stuff on the side. You can either use it for compression, which I've kind of done here, or in the back so that you can secure equipment to it. Now one nice thing that I noticed online that somebody else had done was they talk about the notion of hook, when you run it so that your cord locks are on the top and not on the bottom. That way you can tighten it up and then just tuck the loose end in, as opposed to it going down in the pocket and getting in the way. So that was kind of a nice feature. But I gotta say, these pockets are why I love this pack, because I can organize it's lightweight, it's one main compartment, but I can organize everything so that I can find it in the dark. I don't have to look, I know where everything is, and I don't have to mess around. So last thing to do is look at the inside. It's got a cinch collar, so it certainly isn't waterproof by any stretch of the imagination. The material's done pretty well, but when I get in the rain, if I don't have a good pack cover on, the inside does get wet. So I do keep everything inside of a plastic bag, and I haven't really used a pack cover much, but it's something that I'm going to experiment with, and I'll let you know how that works out. But one big nice open roomy compartment that I love. I can put stuff in it, and I keep stuff in little bags so that I can find them easily. It does have a system in here for a water system. So it's got this inner sleeve so that you can put in a water bladder. I don't use them, but a lot of folks do, and so it's a nice feature. And then on both sides there's a little opening here that passes through to the outside, and then you can run it down through there. You can do it to either side. So if you use a water system, it certainly is compatible with that. And it has a aluminum stay, which, you know, unlike a lot of ultralight packs, it does have a little aluminum stay. It's very light, but you can see it does come out if you want it to. So you just you just unclip these two little pieces of Velcro here and slide it right on out, and you can take it out if that's what you want to do. So put that back on. I use mine, so it's not something that I take in and out. But it's nice to know that if you wanted to, you could. Like I said, you could take the hip belt off. You could take this stay out. You have this pad to give you some. So if you had an ultralight load going on, you'd probably lower this down to, 14, 15 ounces. If that. A lot of the weight is in the hip belt and in that stay. So if you took them out, it certainly would lighten your load a good bit. So, but the only other modification I can think of that I did make to it was I carry trekking poles and I shoot video. And so there are times when I want to get rid of a trekking pole, or if I'm carrying my umbrella, I want to get rid of the trekking pole. And one thing that I did do that I got from somewhere, I'm sure, was a way to carry my trekking pole. So what I did was I mounted on the bottom side over here, on the left side as I wear it, a piece of thick shock cord just through the loops. I just basically knotted up the line and fed it through. So it's through that mesh, and that mesh hasn't failed on me yet. And then I took a real lightweight piece of tubing here. And what that lets me do is, as I'm wearing it, I reach back and I pull that out, and I slip my hiking pole through that big protected opening. And then I just, up on the top up here, I have one loop of 1/8 inch shock cord. And then I just pull on that and wrap it around. And it actually lets me carry my trekking poles kind of almost like a sword. And I can carry both of my trekking poles that way. So I just thought that I would mention that. It's not really part of the review per se, but it's kind of what I've done with it. And I found it to be useful, so I thought that I would pass it on. But so that's it. That's my review on the Mariposa Plus backpack. I really love it. It's not my first ultralight pack. I had a Go Light without a hip belt that I got in the 90s, and I liked it, but it really would tire my shoulders out because I'm just not that ultralight. But this hip belt, everything's comfortable. I've used it to 34 pounds is the heaviest that I got, and it was fine. I don't like it whenever I have it so high up in the collar, particularly with a bear canister, because it is hard against your head. I mean, it rides right there. But whenever it's just food, it's fine because it kind of stays away from you. But all told, it's a great pack. I love it, and I really love its outside features. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you find this video to be helpful. I look forward to seeing any comments you might have. I'd love to hear about your pack. So let's see your videos, and I look forward to seeing you again on the trail.